Alright, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do a quick video just doing an overview on my 2021 run and gun self-filming equipment and setups. I'll just touch on sticks, platform, a handful of things, maybe my bow as well. We'll just go over some of the equipment and maybe some modifications I've done to it and just a quick overview. So stay tuned guys. Alright, so we'll start with the sticks I'll be using this year. They're the same sticks that I've been using since 2018 and they're the original Hawk Heliums. They were 3-step sticks and I cut them down to double steps like the current model that's available. So these are them. I cut them down. They're about 22 inches from step to step. I put on stealth strips to keep them quiet and switch the straps out from the original Hawk straps to these tethered daisy chains, which work really well. They're light, quiet, and they're easy to use. They come in a 4-pack, and since I have 3 sticks, I decided to make an 8er as my bottom step. So I got a bottom stick, 2 other sticks, and those seem to get me to about 12-15 feet, maybe a little higher if I really want to stretch it. So far they've been working great. I've had them like this in this exact configuration for the last season. I'll be running the same setup for this season. They work really well, and you can pick them up now in a 4-pack as a double step, which is a really good option. They're low entry cost and they really seem to work pretty well. You can switch the straps out for something like these daisy chain straps that you can get from Tethered, which I really like. I think they're a good improvement over the original straps. Alright, so the next thing I want to cover is the platform I'm using. I picked this platform up last year. It's the Trophyline platform. It's the larger one. They now offer an EDP, an everyday platform, which is a little smaller. This is the original Mission platform. Now it's a larger platform, and I really like that from the transition going from a tree stand to a saddle. I found it to be easier to move around the tree and have better footing for shot opportunities. I put some stealth strips around some areas to keep it quiet when I stack it on the bag and stack it with sticks, and that helps. I really like using those stealth strips for a lot of applications. But this platform, it's a little heavier, it's a little bulkier, but I find that there's a good trade-off when you're actually up in the tree. You can get much better footing than on some smaller platforms. Alright, moving on, we'll talk about the saddle I'll be running this year, and that is the Latitude, the Method. This is the non-metal version, so no metal buckles anywhere. It's all knots and ropes for the whole saddle. I mean, the only metal we're looking at is metal connections for the dump pouch over here. But this is the first season I'll be running this saddle. Last year I was running the Trophyline, I believe it's the Ambush, an entry-level saddle that worked well. I did get some weird pressure points with it and just wasn't too fond of the lack of adjustability in it. Specifically with like the bridge lengths. It's just a fixed length on that saddle. So I made the upgrade when Latitude had a sale. I believe it was in the winter, maybe they had a sale. So I picked up the Method, the metal-free version, and I'll likely be running it just the way it is. I have their Sterling Oplux ropes to go with it, so tether and linesman's. And I really like those ropes. Small diameter, lightweight rope is really, really nice up in the tree. And I'll just be running with standard carabiners, and I won't be using any rolling locks or fancy ascenders. I'll just be running prussiks. I find it just not too difficult to use a prussik. Okay, so for transporting everything to the tree, I'm using a Kuiu Venture 1800. Since I was hunting when I was maybe 13 or 14 years old, I picked up a pack back then, and I used that all the way up till about last year. It was super beat up. Can't even tell you what name brand it was. Probably some cheapo, but it lasted forever. So when Kuiu had a big sale going on, I figured I'd pick up something a little more decent, a little higher quality. So this Kuiu Venture 1800 is a much more durable pack. Cordura, it's going to be louder, but it's going to be more durable. Probably last, equal or longer on the time frame. It's got tons of opportunities for strapping things on, which I'll show you here. We got 4 cross straps going across the bag. 2 vertical straps that I have. I picked up some extras, and this pack does have quite a bit of options for storing things. You got this outside pocket, a couple pockets up top, and then on the interior, a couple pouches inside and big pouches. So when I'm up in the tree, usually I'll have that folded down just in practice. That's what I've been working on now. So I'll have access to things I really need, such as grunt calls, or maybe my phone I'll store right in the top, so I don't have to make too much noise digging into the pack. That's one thing to consider when you're buying a pack like this, is the Cordura is very noisy. So that's the one downside to this pack. It did come with a hip belt that I removed due to some contact issues when I wear my saddle into the woods. So that came off, and it's going to cut down on some of the noise. But overall, the pack has an internal frame sheet, which makes it really nice carrying in sticks in the platform. Even though they don't weigh that much, you just feel like you're not carrying anything at all. So that internal frame sheet makes it really nice and comfortable carrying any sort of weight in. And since I have my bow out here, I might as well just go over it, doing some shooting in the yard. So might as well talk about, the basic overview of the bow setup for this season. There's some videos I have on the channel of the arrow build I'll be running for this season, so you can check those out as well. But a basic overview of the bow. It's a Bowtech Revolt X. Set up about 68 pounds, 28.5-inch draw. I'm running Conquest archery, control freak bars front and rear. I got a 12-inch front, 8-inch rear. Got a Hoyt carbon quiver and a Sword Sniper Pro sight. Be a double pin sight. Some grip for the some grip tape for the grip. Hamskea Hybrid Hunter micro tune, and what else? My tried and true Stand Perfect's thumb, my favorite release ever. And yeah, so for the arrow build, that's on the channel as well, like I mentioned. It's an Axis 260 heavy arrow, running heavy point weight. And the broadheads I'll be shooting are likely going to be my Cutthroat 2 blades and my Iron Will wides. So I talk about those in some of the other videos, and that's just a quick brief overview of the bow, the way it's set up, and I'll likely bring some more videos about the bow leading up to season. So far it's shooting good. The arrows are shooting well. Just shooting bare shafts today with my fletch shafts, and they're hitting money out to 30 yards. I probably could stretch it out to 40 yards and still group them up really tight. Alright, so the last thing I want to touch on from my gear this year is the self-filming setup, the camera I use, camera arm. So we can start with the camera, which I'll put a picture up of. It's a Sony a6000. I have a small rig metal frame case. I'm running a Sony 18-105 PZ, so a power zoom, 18-105 millimeter power zoom lens, and I'll be running it on the Lone Wolf Custom Gear camera arm. I like this arm just because it's small, it's portable, it's easy to get on the tree. I upgraded the strap because I really didn't like the one they provided. The fluid head I'll be using is a Manfrotto Be Free. It's pretty small, compact, and it seems to work really well so far, just through practice. The one thing you can see here is my remote control. So that's one reason I opted for the Sony a6000, is I could run this 18-105 lens with a remote, so I can have one finger or one hand camera control zooming in and out. And for self-filming, that's kind of what you need. You can't be using two hands trying to film, at least with the mirrorless or the DSLRs. I know some people might be a lot better at it than me. This will be my first go around with it, but I figured if I can get that remote and just have one hand controlling the camera, that'll work really well. So far so good just through practice. I like it. The camera is pretty nice. It works well. It was a low entry cost, you know, as compared to some other mirrorless and DSLR camera options. So it's working well. But yeah, that's pretty much the gear I'll be running. The camera system, the bow, quick overview, pack, sticks, platform. It's pretty much what I'll be running, and it's worked well so far for me, and we'll see how the self-filming goes this year. So, you know, stick around guys, be sure to subscribe, like. If you have comments or questions on any of the gear I use, drop those down below. I'll likely do some more in-depth videos on other gear I use, or some of this gear, and you know, more in-depth breakdowns. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And yeah, have a good summer guys. We're closing in on the end of summer, coming up to season, so get out there, shoot your bows, get up in the tree. Definitely shoot out of the tree if you haven't yet. So not too much longer before season's here. All right, thanks guys.